Hi everyone, and welcome to my update. I am going to check in with the Golden Nugget Plecos, which I have seen them eat, which is very exciting. And also it's about the year update on my long nose, bristle nose accident where he got stuck in a piece of chula wood. And we were very worried about him, so I thought he's peeking out, so I thought we'd sneak over there and take a little check-in and see how he's doing. So stay tuned. Forgive the water spots, but here's my albino bristle nose, and you can see he is bristly as ever, but he is also doing really well. He's happy. Most of his fins have grown back fairly well. Of course, he's not going to flare up now. Want to flare for us? Oh, there we go. There, you can see that top fin that was just ragged. His closest fin to us, this one here, is actually still separated, the hard cartilage from the fins, but it's grown back, healed. He's super great. He loves that cichlid cave, which he can barely fit into. You can see he fits in sideways. The other male short fin, he and the long fin spar sometimes, and there's a video of that on the channel. And he is just sticking his nose out. So they have had a pretty lush week of yummies. We have the fork I need to get out of there was from zucchini, and then you see all the baby cories are out looking for food. They've been eating a mix of rapashi, bottom feeder, Soylent Green, a little Spawn and Grow. So they get a whole mix of things, which I've talked about on my channel before. I'm gonna open a container of food. So today there's gonna be some flugel bug bites going in. Some for the little Raspora. I've been looking very hard for more of these lamb chop Rasporas locally, and nobody seems to have them. Just frustrating me because I really like to increase my school. I have like 4 of them, and I'd like to have like 20 in this tank. This of course is my 75-gallon planted, and I'd really like to up the number of schooling fish. I have one large school of cardinals which hang out on this side, and we can see a little of them as they're coming out. You can see, I guess there's 5 of those Rasporas. One is at social with the others evidently today. Slight tangent. The bobitus, I was having the hardest time getting that to grow when I was in the Pacific Northwest. It absolutely adores this hard water, and it is growing like a weed. Look at how big it is. Let's see if I can pan. It now goes all the way up, and it's attached to the wood here and there. Also, some of my lilies are coming in. I transplanted one over here, and then it, from my 5-gallon, and then it decided to cut back. But I think that's mostly just because of different amount of light. So you see what I get to see when the cories come out to feed. There is tons of them. And you can see that some of the bronze, some of the cories do have the dark black coloring. We have a baby here that's darker, and one there that are taking after the one male in the tank. And then so the one male's right back there by the albino right now. Here's the black variation. As you can see, lots of babies, random sturvy cory. They haven't been spawning much lately just because it's been kind of off season for them. I also think they're like, we have enough population right now. You can see just, this tank is just full of them, which I adore. My random Rominos. So the tank needs something up in the top, which is where I used to have the rainbow fish before I moved. So I've been trying to decide what to do to finish stocking this tank. We move over and feed the Lake Tanganyikan tank. So they get fed the tropical bug bites and the small variety. It's about the only fish food I have that's small enough for them without just doing baby brine shrimp. And you're probably like, but is there any fish in the tank? We'll see them come out of the woodwork here, or the jungle. My Lake Tanganyikan jungle tank. Just in case, don't want anyone to jump. So we have our Julies. We have at least 3 of them still. I'm hoping maybe they'll breed at some point. And then, because we definitely have different sizes. And then lots of Maltese. I haven't seen any really tiny fry, but I have seen very small adults. So I just don't know if they've picked up spawning again since the move or not. It always took them about 6 months to reestablish in any place before they went bonanzas breeding. So hopefully we just have some time to wait. But they're doing well, and their tank is due for a trim. You can't tell. Some of this wisteria is literally trying to grow out of the tank. You can see up here, it's literally growing out of the water and trying to grow through the glass. But it keeps the tank nice and clean, and that's been really helpful in the last couple months where my school schedule has just been keeping me so busy in winter travels. So next up, you will see a lot of snails and not a lot of other things. So this is where we have the other Lake Tanganyikan shell dwellers, which we have a few pearly ocellatus. There's one right in the foreground. I fed them a little earlier. They get freeze-dried bloodworms, the Aussies. And then in this tank is where I put my new Golden Nugget Plecos. And I've moved the hides over here from the 75. Stole a few from those Plecos. And so far the snails are the only thing that have been really paying attention. So the Plecos like to hide. There's one right there under the sponge filter. Let's see if I can zoom in here. Get a little closer. And this guy is our most active. It's the one I see out and about the most. But again, I see most of that after the lights have gone off. Then after that, they like to hide. I can get this from this angle. Pardon the shoddy camera work here. But they like to hide right behind the intakes of the HOVs. So there's 2 hang on the backs filters on this tank, and there is one Pleco hiding behind both of them. We won't be able to see the other one from the glare, but he's up there. So they're doing well. I've seen them eating on some zucchini, and then I've been feeding them rapashi, which is what you see down here. The snails are gobbling up. Maybe I fed too much yesterday. And then the other thing is, you know, these are big off-lux grazers. So what I really see is this rock used to be covered in algae. And it's not so much that they eat the algae, because you can see right over here that algae has been kicked off, but they're eating the microbacteria that's growing on the rocks. So they're making these clean paths. They're cleaning off the sponge filters. So there's this huge patch here that's been cleaned off. So we see a lot of that in this tank. So they are, like most Plecos, very expensive and very rarely seen, but I am enjoying them quite a lot, and I look forward to seeing how they're going to grow up and how big they're going to get. And this tank is severely due for a water change, which is what I'm going to do after I finish this recording. So then, last but not least are the shrimp tanks, which are really algae covered. I've been trying to balance light on these guys, but I've gotten blackbeard algae. So this is my blue dreams. I rarely see any in there, but there are some still in there. Then my reds in this tank, which looks the coolest from above. My tweezers from planting last. This plant here needs a trimmed back, but it's doing well in this tank. And then I've planted some crypts and some hair grass and that sort of thing in there. And then my baby tier mat that came in really in poor condition right there is growing a few little spots back. So I need to kind of pull those out, maybe plant them. And the Monte Carlo is doing well. The water is nice and hard for it. But I'm having a hard time keeping it in the substrate because this tank only has about an inch of substrate. And then the last tank has the orange shrimp in it, which I never see either. But they also have my two rainbows that are about big enough to probably get moved to the 75 if I plan on putting rainbows in there. They're finally substantially sized, and they are eating a blend of it's not this actual food, but it's the different fluval bug bites. And then there are some more cory fry in here, and they're really nice and dark and beautiful. And they like the bottom feeding. I got the bottom feeding formula that they've been liking. So that is this week's fish update. Oh, there's an orange shrimp. Sorry about the Christmas lights here. Can we see him? One orange shrimp. There's like 20 in here. There's probably more. See another one up there in the plants. It's just something about orange and green. It makes it impossible to see. And you can see this tank, it has a bit of a hair algae issue as well. It's gonna get a big water change today, and I'm probably gonna up my carbon dosing on it. I am contemplating, however much I love this little 5-gallon flat, is merging these 3 tanks into maybe a 30-gallon long or something. I have to measure the counter and see what actual size will fit. Go to the local fish store, see what actual size is available. I don't want something too huge. I don't want to put like a 55 or something on there. One, that'd be kind of heavy, and it'd also be ridiculous to have that there. It would be almost impossible to access the top of. But I really want to do something where I can get to these and maintenance is a little easier. Just the evaporation on these tanks. This is 1 week evaporation. These have been topped up just a few days ago, and they've already evaporated a lot. Evaporation's real tricky. I could probably reorganize this one and put a lid on it, but this one, there's no lid available that I know of. And with its current setup, which is what I like about it, I couldn't put a lid on there anyway. So what's hard is like getting in to actually clean the algae off here. There's like you put your hand in and the water raises up and overflows. So it's just been really tricky, and there's a lot of snails in there, and they're just not keeping algae at bay. Although you can see their little tracks on it. So anyway, that's this week's update. Everyone's doing well. I'm really excited about my plecos and that they're eating, and I've seen them. Now I just need to do water changes so everyone has
nice clean water, although I mean everything tests well. I just algae wise we gotta do some water changes to combat some of this hair algae and this blackbeard algae that I'm getting. So I'll check back with you guys all next week, and I'll see you online soon. Bye. B-roll footage with ice skating music in the background. After water changes, you can see them a little better. They're out. It's also getting later, and I took out a lot of floating plants. So this one's the most active. That's one